house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 21 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Darren Chan, aka Sheena 123. Darren, thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate it, and we could not do this without you, so thank you again. And thank you for the Power Rangers DVD. If you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below, or send us some mail. Yeah, so when we left off yesterday, they had just finished the field trip competition. So just to remind you guys, the 3 house guests that were voted in by America were Jackson, Christie, and Sis. So Jackson won first place in the competition, which means he is safe for the week. Sis came in second, which means she got a punishment, and it's kind of lame. She's gonna be wearing a chicken costume for a week. That's it, that's all. We're going to talk about it more in a little bit, but I thought that was kind of tame for this punishment. Christie placed 3rd, which means she is going to be the 3rd nominee up on the block this week. Oh! On Tommy's HOH week. So, just to clarify, if the power veto is used on her and she comes down, she will not be replaced with someone else. It'll just go back to 2 nominees. But if one of Tommy's nominees wins the power veto, yes, he will have to pick a replacement nominee. Okay, so I'm not totally sure what this field trip competition was, but it sounds like it was maybe a variation of the chicken wire, chicken eggs one, where you have to move the eggs through the wire. It sounded like it was a little bit different though, and there may have been some like rolling of the eggs involved. I don't know for sure. But apparently it was pretty grueling, and it took a long time to do. So the other house guests got to watch on the monitor, and they said it was even just grueling to watch it all unfold. So anyway, some reactions after the competition. Jackson celebrating with Holly in the storage room. He is all hyped up because not only is he safe for the week, but that means that both of them are going to be able to compete in HOH the following week. And I'm not a Jackson fan, but I feel like this was the best, most exciting outcome possible this week with the house guests that we had going into the competition. I think it's fun. I wanted to see Sis knock down a few pegs, and I wanted to see Christie on the block because I thought it would be funny. Sorry. So anyway, Sis was up in the HOH room with Tommy. And she's telling him, I'm sorry, I literally tried. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. It just sounded so funny. So Tommy says that he thinks that if he wasn't HOH, he probably would have been competing in this. And if Jack wasn't evicted last week, he probably would have been competing in this. Yeah, America doesn't like your group. But then, okay, so they were talking more about how Sis was apparently like trying to throw the competition so that Christie would be safe, but Christie was so bad at it that it was a lost cause. Why would Sis try to throw this competition? That makes no sense to me. So you're okay? You feel safe enough that you are okay with going up on the block? Especially for someone like Christie, who you've talked so much crap about and you feel like you can't trust. It seems like this week, though, Sis does want Christie to stay around because she realizes, oh crap, my numbers are dwindling, and I'm going to be in trouble here if Christie leaves this week. So anyway, Nick and Christie join them up in the HOH room, and of course, Christie starts crying. We're going to need a tear count for the rest of this week. I mean, it is insane how much she's already cried. So she's like, I'm scared. She says she's freaking out. She doesn't, you know, she can't believe she's up on the block. She wasn't expecting to have to worry this week. Expect the unexpected. So they're all telling her it's gonna be okay. One of us is gonna win the veto and we're gonna save you, obviously. So Christie says, I don't know, if I stay on the block, Jackson and Holly are gonna vote me out. Yeah, there's a very good chance that they will. But they keep telling her, no, we're gonna win the veto and we're gonna use it on you. It's gonna be fine. Just relax. Okay, so then Tommy and Nick were chatting alone in the HOH, and Tommy is bringing up some stuff that he's heard in all of his one-on-one chats this week. He brings up that some information that he was sharing with Nick was getting back to Kat last week. What's that all about? It's kind of weird. He's also not sure if Nick was ever actually considering keeping Jack or if he was just playing along. So he's saying like, oh, I don't need to know the reasoning behind all this, but like, I just wanted to let you know. And Nick says, no, let me explain. He says if Cliff decided to flip last week, he would have flipped. He would have kept Jack. Yeah, because he just wants to be with the majority, duh. But he says, Tommy, once you won that HOH, now I can show that I'm loyal to you. That's so shitty to say. Oh my god. So anyway, Tommy still has to make some nominations here. He's still got to put 2 people up on the block, and he's trying to figure out, like, is Christie being up there going to change my nominations, or should I just do what I was going to do anyway? He's still planning to put up Kat and Cliff, but he is nervous about Christie being up there. Tommy still really wants Kat out. He says she's working with everybody, and if I take her out, it's gonna weaken everyone. Come on, she's working with everyone. Maybe everyone except for like Tommy, Sis, pretty much Christie. So come on, stop saying that she's working with everyone and this is the most fair thing for the whole house. So Tommy also says that he gave Kat the Hawaii trip during the Power Veto last week and she never even thanked him. Why should she thank you? You did not give her that trip. If he is claiming that he gave that to her, then everybody else that was eliminated after Kat should also be able to say that they gave her that trip because they also didn't take it away from her. So it's definitely some BS. But Nick is like, oh, I don't know. Cliff is a big threat too. He tells Tommy, Cliff was saying last week that if he won HOH that he would put up you and Christie and you would be his target. So then Nick is saying he swears he's gonna win the veto and save Christie this week. I mean, he said that over and over and over again. He said it so many times. And he said, Final 4 is gonna be me, you, Sis, and Christie. That's rough. So Tommy says, yeah, maybe we can keep working with Holly and Jackson too. So your old group minus Bella and Jack. Great. Okay. So then Nick just keeps insisting that he only had a working relationship with the other side for last week. He wasn't like actually in an alliance with them, which is true. They never actually like set something up officially with Nick. Not that I saw anyway. He was playing both sides. He was in the middle. So let's check in with Christie. She's in the RV room with Nicole, and Christie's like, it sucks, but it is what it is. You know, my fate was in my own hands, and I blew it in that competition, so that's just how it goes. She says, it was meant for me to be on the block. Everything happens for a reason. Guys, okay, go to YouTube. Oh, you're already in YouTube. Open up a new page on YouTube. Type in No Reason, Beetlejuice the Musical. Christie is Delia in that song. Spot on! Oh my god. Okay, every time I hear that song, I think of Christie. So Nicole says, you know, don't worry, you still have the veto. We still have a lot of time left before the eviction, so anything could happen. And Christie's like, yeah, I know, I'm not gonna have a pity party. Oh my god! If she's not having a pity party, I don't know what she would consider to be a pity party. That's a little scary. So anyway, Jess joins them, and Christie is wondering why she was picked for this competition. She's saying, if this was an America's Vote thing, what was the mentality behind it? She's starting to wonder, am I hated? She says the thought of being hated is freaking her out. Don't go on social media after the show. So Jess says, well, it could have been because all of you guys were so involved in that fight on day 44. And Nicole's saying maybe they wanted you guys to be eligible to compete for that safety. Maybe they like you. So then Nicole is telling her, who gives a crap? what, you know, if America does hate you, whatever, who cares what they think? We know you in this house and we love you. Even if America hates you, F America then. I am pretty sure Nicole knows what's really up here and she's just trying to make Christie feel better, because she's not going to say like, yep, America hates you. That's how it is. So they just continue to comfort Christie. There's going to be a lot of that. So meanwhile, Tommy is having some last minute one-on-ones before nominations. So Cliff goes up to talk to him. It's pretty much the same conversation they had the day before. Tommy's telling him, if you do go up, you're not my target. You're great. I love you. I'm freaking obsessed with you. He says that to everybody. Kat gets her turn. Tommy tells her that he wants to do what's the most fair for the whole house. I don't think Kat going up on the block as the target is very fair for her. But anyway, it's a lame excuse. He wants her out because he feels threatened by her. He's just using that as an excuse. So Kat keeps asking him, is there anything that you want me to clarify for you? Is there anything that I could say, like, to keep her off the block? And Tommy says, no, I've heard a lot of things from a lot of people. Like, I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of everything that's happened. So then Tommy is saying what he's going to do this week is not what he originally intended to do before the field trip competition. Really? Because seems like the same plan to me. But he's making it seem to everyone like he would have put up Jackson, but he had already decided that he wasn't going to do that. But he's trying to make it look like the five are not actually together. What he doesn't realize is they may not actually be together. So yeah, he's telling everybody like, oh, I would have put up Jackson, but he's immune this week. So he lets Kat know, don't be surprised if you go up on the block. And Kat says, I just want you to know, I would be a vote for Christie to stay if I'm not on the block on Thursday. And Tommy says, I'm gonna have to consider that. Okay, so Jess talks to Tommy, and Tommy says he's not gonna put Jess up this week no matter what happens. Whoa. And Jess tells him, you have my full support this week. If I win the veto, I'll do whatever you want with it. I really hope she's just kissing his ass right now and she doesn't actually mean that, because that would be so disappointing. But Tommy says he really just does not want Christie to go this week, and I think he's really showing his cards to a lot of people, because he is saying that to a lot of people. He's like, my main goal this week is to get Christie off the block. He's asking people to use the veto on her, and if they don't want to use the veto on her, he would prefer that they leave the nominations the same, because he thinks he has the votes to keep her. So he's really showing how close he actually is to Christie and how important she is to his game. So then Nicole and Kat are chatting, and Nicole shares that Tommy let her know that Kat told Tommy about the Nick thing. I know that's confusing. So just to clarify, I mentioned the other day, Nick told Nicole that he thought that Kat and Cliff were going to be the ones going up, and then Nicole told Kat, just to kind of warn her that she might be on the radar this week. Kat went and told Tommy because she was freaking out, and Tommy then told Nicole and Nick that Kat told him. I hope that made sense. So Kat is apologizing. She's like, I wasn't trying to sabotage you. I was just all paranoid and freaking out. So I wanted to see if there was any truth to this with Tommy. And Nicole's like, it's okay. You know, don't do that again. They discuss the upcoming nominations. Kat is pretty sure she's going up on the block, and she feels like it could be with Cliff, but they also think it could be okay this week if Christie stays up on the block. They could potentially get the votes to get rid of her. Then Cliff's Angels would all be safe. And they confirm, yeah, they're down to vote Christie out if she's still up on the block. Ow. So then Kat and Jess chat a little while later, and they're still trying to figure out who's going up on the block. They're saying no matter what, our group has to stay strong. So Kat says, even though she really likes Christie on a personal level and she feels like they're kind of allies, she would much rather have Christie leave than Cliff. She does not want to lose Cliff in this game. So Jess says, let's just take this little by little and not be too overreactive right now. Jess, do not ruin this. I can tell that Jess doesn't want to think about getting rid of Christie right now. But girl, you are coming off of such a strong week. Do not ruin this. Obviously a lot is going to come down to who wins this power veto. It might not even be an option at the end of the week to get rid of Christie. But I think if Christie were up on the block, I think that Jess would see how important it was for her game to take Christie out, and she would do it. So anyway, then they were talking about how they agree that America's vote was very telling of what's been going on and what America thinks about all of it. They also discussed that they feel like Nick was playing both sides last week. A lot of information was spreading around. They don't trust him. And Kat says it's pretty obvious now that Nick wants to play with the other side. Even from watching the feeds, it definitely seemed like Nick still preferred to work with Tommy and his crew rather than like the outsiders. He's got this thing where it feels like he just desperately wants to be a part of like the cool kids, and because they were originally the majority alliance, he's just like fixated on them. And it's really sad the way that he acts when he's trying to impress the cool kids. It's like hard to watch. So anyway, where are we? Tommy was talking to Christie and Sis in the HOH room. He's feeling a lot better after all of his one-on-ones with everyone again. So Tommy's telling Christie, you are fine. And she says, well, I don't feel like I'm fine. Tommy says he talked to everyone. It's gonna be okay. He still wants Kat to go. And he says, it's the most fair for the most people, blah, blah, blah. Oh my God. And he says that he's told everyone that his goal this week is to get Christie off the block. And he's told people if they win the power veto and they don't feel comfortable just taking Christie down, he wants them to respect the nominations and leave them the same. Yes, I will allow you to take out one of my allies because I'm respecting your nominations. No, okay. So Tommy says, yeah, Jess and Nicole agreed to that. But Jess and Nicole agreed to that because they figure, wow, it could be great if nominations stay the same and Christie stays up there because they're pretty sure they will have the votes to get rid of her. So then Christie's crying that Nick promised he'd use the power veto on her. And they trust him that he would actually do that. I think he would too because, again, he's desperate to get in with that group. And at the same time, Christie is worried, what would Jackson or Holly do if they had the power veto? Tommy says they're on board, don't worry. I was never gonna nominate them in the first place, so they're good with us, you know? They're gonna be on our side still. So Tommy says even if Christie stays up on the block, he feels that they still have the votes. Nick and Jackson have promised their votes, Jess and Nicole. There's no way that Jess and Nicole are gonna keep Christie over one of their allies. No. And I really don't see Jackson and Holly not capitalizing on this opportunity to get rid of Christie. So Christie said that she wants the Five and Nick to get back together. Tommy is like, yeah, but we can't let people know that we're working together. It has to be on the down low. But they realize it's going to be really obvious that they're working together if Jackson or Holly were to win the veto and save Christie with it. No chance that's happening. So Christie says, well, they can just say that I was unfairly nominated and they're going to take me down to make it right. Let's not talk about unfair, Christie. Do you remember who you came into the house already knowing? Okay, so anyway, Tommy says, if Kat or Cliff win the power veto, Nicole is going to be the replacement nominee. He just doesn't have that many options. And Tommy and Sis just keep telling Christie, you're not going home on Tommy's HOH. I don't know. A lot's going to depend on the power veto. Okay, so then a little while after that, Sis gets her punishment costume. She is dressed up as a chicken, but it's like a pretty chill chicken suit, I would say, as far as chicken suits go, because it's just like these like long shorts. Like they're not shorts and they're not pants, but they're like to the knee, I guess, shorts. And then a top, and it's like all fuzzy, and there's a hood, and there's like a big tail with feathers, but it's not like a super intense costume compared to other ones that we've seen on the show. So she has to wear that for 1 week, and she doesn't have any sort of action to go along with it. So it's not like Tommy's where he's getting woken up and has to like go around and spray nasty shit everywhere, or any of the other costume punishments. Like, remember Alex's from season 19 where she had to freaking set up her campsite every time she was called? So it's nothing like that. She just has to wear it. It's like Celebrity Jeopardy. They're making it easy for her. But she does have to wear it apparently during competitions, and she has to sleep in it. Gross. Okay, so then the feeds go down for the nomination ceremony, and as expected, Tommy put up Kat and Cliff. So they're up there next to Christie. Okay, so some post-nominations reactions. Cliff is telling Tommy, it's all good, we're still buddies, this is a game, I get it, it's fine. And I get to play in the Power Veto, so that's great. Okay, Kat did not take it so well. Apparently she started crying very loudly during the nomination ceremony itself, and then when the feeds came back, she's crying in the boat lounge. So Jess goes in there to comfort her, and Kat says, well, I'm just like really embarrassed. Well, she's crying right now, but I don't feel like doing it. She said she's really embarrassed that she cried during the actual ceremony. Who does that? And she hates that she's on the block again. She hates that she's up there next to Cliff, and she says it's even harder because everything went so well last week. They were at such a high, and now she feels so low. That is like classic Big Brother, right? It's a real roller coaster ride. So Jackson joins them, and he's telling her, you still have the veto. Plus, there are 3 nominees up on the block right now, so you have a much better chance to stay. And Kat's saying, yeah, but if Christie comes off the block, I really don't want to campaign against Cliff. Like, that is going to break her heart. So Jackson offers to play in the Power Veto for her, and he says, if you are up on the block on Thursday, I will not vote to evict you. Okay. So after he leaves, Jess tells Kat, do not pick Jackson for the Power Veto. And Kat's like, do you think I'm crazy? No. She says she would pick Jess if she got to choose. So then Cliff comes in, and he says, I hurt when you hurt. Oh, Cliff. So he also reminds her, there are 3 people up right now. We're gonna have at least 2 chances to win the veto. We just have to make sure that Christie doesn't win and none of her friends win that would take her down. You know, so we control our fate right now. We just gotta go out and win that veto. So let's talk about Christie. She's like having a freaking full-blown existential crisis right now. She is crying in the campsite room. Jess and Nick are trying to comfort her. Cliff comes in at some point. They have like this philosophical discussion. So Christie's like, I can't believe that I'm on the block during Tommy's HOH. It's not fair. Now, normally, I would feel bad for someone who's getting screwed by a twist like this. But she did come in the house with an unfair advantage. You know, I could see if everybody came in with somebody that they knew, so it was an even playing field. But she had an unfair advantage coming in. Maybe the universe is trying to say something, especially with this happening during Tommy's HOH. Is there something to it? I don't know. But Christie says one of the reasons that she decided to vote to keep Jack is because she believes in karma. And she believes that when you stay true to yourself, the universe or God rewards that and like has your back in return. So she's saying it doesn't make sense. So now she's pissed at that, like that idea. So she says, why do I even believe what I believe? Oh my God, she's imploding. So Cliff was telling her some wise stuff about how, you know, your path could be twisty and turny, like it's never gonna be like a straight path or whatever. I don't know, I don't remember what he said, but it was sweet. Okay, moving on, because we have other things to talk about. There was an interesting conversation in the boat lounge between Holly and Jackson. And they're like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do here? We have an opportunity with Christie up on the block. Holly says that Tommy is really gung-ho about keeping the 5 together this week, but she's not sure that they should do that. And Jackson says, yeah, I don't want to. The thought of working with Christie makes him cringe. And Holly agrees. Jackson says, okay, let's think about this. If we flip on Tommy and vote out Christie, we would only have to worry about Sis in the HOH competition. It's basically going to be like everybody versus Sis. But say we get rid of all them, where does that leave us with the rest of the house? Are we going to be the new targets once Christie, Tommy, and Sis are gone? And they're like, yeah, maybe, but at that point, they're going to have a 3 with Kat within their 6. So they feel like it could be okay. You know, maybe this is the best direction to move in. They're really feeling like maybe they should make the move on Christie while they can. When else are they going to have this opportunity? Especially this opportunity where they didn't even have to put her up on the block themselves. You know, this was like given to them. So eventually they start talking about the field trip competition, and Jackson's like, damn, I feel like this was a punishment competition for the 3 least favorite house guests. He says, America does not like us. At least he's being real, right? He knows what's up. So Jackson says there's no way to spin this. He really does feel like they were chosen by America because America does not like them. Now, this is interesting because I'm sure this field trip is really playing into their decision this week. You know, they're seeing that the 3 people selected were all from 6 shooters. So they have an opportunity to now go against 6 shooters. And I think they're probably thinking, maybe if we vote out Christie, America will like us a little more. Because they are concerned with how America's perceiving them. Especially Holly. Maybe not Jackson as much, but he's always saying like, don't mess with my reputation in the real world. But then he's also saying like, I don't care if America doesn't like me, I'm real. But I think they care. So I think that's definitely gonna be part of their decision. So there was also some Nick and Nicole drama last night. Nicole was talking to Kat, and she was saying that she's pissed because Nick has been pushing her and telling her that she needs to pick a side, and she doesn't really know what his intentions are. She's like, what? It seems like he wants me to be in the same position he is, which is like in the middle, and she doesn't want that. So meanwhile, Nick is talking to Christie and Sis, and he's saying, oh, I think I can swing some magic to keep Christie safe this week. He thinks that he's gonna be able to get Nicole's vote because they're super tight. I don't think you are. He says, if Nicole doesn't keep Christie this week, I'm not protecting her anymore, and I'm gonna tell her that. And he says, Nicole owes us. Holly was gonna put her up, and we convinced her not to. Wasn't Sis like really pushing for Nicole to go up, if I remember correctly? But Christie is insisting that she's gonna get evicted this week, and they keep telling her no. Nick is insisting that he's gonna win the veto and save her. So we'll come back to Nick and Nicole in a minute. Hashtag, but first, time for more of Christie melting down. So Christie was crying to Jess in the campsite bedroom, and I just feel like it really looked like Christie was rubbing her eyes and like trying to push the tears out at one point. But she wishes that everyone could just get together in a room and say what they really mean instead of being fake. House meeting! And it's funny because isn't Christie the queen of like telling everyone what they want to hear and like making sure all of her bases are covered? So then she starts screech crying and she says, nobody is held accountable for the things that they say. Nobody's held accountable for the shit they try to pull. And then she says, as soon as the opportunity strikes for people to become convenient with other people, they flip-flop and they want to turn people against people that are effing loyal. It's gross. This game's gross. I'm effing better than So she says if she goes, at least she's effing true. Oh my god! I'm gonna go Real Housewives for a minute. Own your shit! Own it! Seriously, she is being so hypocritical with this right now. It is insane. So she says, when I say something, I stand by it. When I swear on something, I stand by it. She says, I stand up for people when they deserve to be effing stand up for. I think she means stood up for, but whatever. We get what she means. Like when you threw Nicole under the bus. What? So yeah, she says, if that's what gets me sent home, then so be it. This is so ridiculous. It's laughable at this point. Like, I hate to laugh at somebody who's crying, but okay. So then Christie's going on about how she swore on her sister's life not to use her power during Jess's HOH, and she's like, Holly wanted me to use it to put up Cliff and then get the 6 back together. And Christie is claiming she was immediately against it. She may have been against putting up Cliff, but she was thinking about using it to put up Nicole to save Jack. So let's be real here. Yeah. So then a little later, Nick and Nicole are chatting, if you can call it that. I do not like the way that Nick talks to Nicole. This is very much the same tone that he was using before he got the wind knocked out of him, and when he got kicked out of Grateful. It was the same feeling of him like interrogating her and like treating her like she's garbage. So Nick is like, okay, if I tell you this and you tell someone, I'm never gonna trust you again. If you effing bury me from this, I'll never talk to you again. Wow, says the guy with some of the loosest lips in the house. Okay. So she's like, no, I'm not gonna tell anyone. Like, that cat thing was a fluke. Like, I was not trying to throw you under the bus, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So Nick tells her that Holly was gonna put Nicole up as the replacement nominee when she was HOH. She was saying that she wanted to give Sam the best chance to stay, and if she went up on the block, she was gonna be the target. So he's like kind of twisting things a little bit here. Like, yeah, Holly was considering it, but again, I feel like Sis was really the one that was pushing for that. So it's interesting, there's oddly no mention of her in all of this, but Tommy and Christie were the ones that convinced Holly not to put up Nicole. So Nick also tells Nicole, you have a big decision to make with this vote. Nick is trying to find out who she's closest to, and in true Nicole fashion, she's not telling him. She's not giving up that info freely. So Nick is like, if you say you're not my one right now, I'm gonna hit you and get evicted. Awkward silence. Okay, so like he didn't say like, I'm gonna hit you, but like he said it. It was like, it wasn't serious, but at the same time, it's not cool to say that. Nick was also saying, oh, I have a bad feeling about next week if I don't win. And Nicole's like, well, I wouldn't put you up if I won HOH. And Nick is like, thanks, great. I effing hope not. And he says, I would effing kill you. Again, he said this like semi-casually. It wasn't like, I'm gonna kill you. But still, it was super awkward, and I think Nicole felt really uncomfortable, and blah, blah, blah. So then Nick was trying to take credit for Nicole being safe this week, and he says, I can't protect you forever if you're not returning my favors. So he's trying to make her feel like she's at the bottom of her group and she can't trust Jackson and Holly, but he, Sis, Christie, and Tommy all have her back, so she should work with them. No. Okay, so the rest of the night, Tommy, Christie, Sis, and Nick were in the HOH room. Christie is crying. Tommy is reassuring her. And Nick is being a dick. He says, none of these effing dorks are taking us out. He says he will self-evict before Jess takes him out. Oh my God, do I wish that Jess would be the one to take him out. That'd be hilarious. So he says that he's not gonna let Jess discriminate against him because he's a male. Oh my God. Sis says, I've always been a girl that doesn't agree with the whole feminism thing. I really just think that sis does not understand what feminism actually is, and I just want to like give her a book to read or something, because it hurts. Like, it really hurts. Okay. So Nick is also saying that he wants to go to the final 6 with Tommy, Sis, Christie, Nicole, and Cliff. And they are planning this week, depending on how the veto goes, if Cliff is still up on the block, they want to try and make a deal with him this week in exchange for keeping him safe. So they're going to be like, we'll keep you safe if you promise to keep us safe for like 2 weeks or whatever. Cliff doesn't want any of your shitty deals. Okay, so Tommy, in other news, finished his punishment last night. Yay! And this morning, they had the Power Veto player picks. So we've got Tommy, Kat, Cliff, and Christie playing, of course. And then we have 2 extras, Jackson and Nick. So it looks like, if you look at this, it's 3 versus 3. You've got Tommy, Christie, and Nick, who would all take Christie off the block. And then you have Kat, Cliff, and Jackson, who would not. I'm pretty sure Jackson would leave the nominations the same, but the votes would be there for Christie to go. And obviously Kat and Cliff, they would take themselves down. So Cliff, Jackson, and Holly were chatting, and they feel like Nick, at this point, is definitely with Tommy's crew, at least for now. Because Christie, I guess she got house guest choice, and she picked Nick to play instead of like sis. So they're like, what's the deal with that? Obviously they've got some sort of deal going on, they're working together, or else she wouldn't have picked him. So Jackson's telling Cliff, I'm gonna give this my everything. So then Cliff leaves, and Jackson is reiterating to Holly, I'm gonna be fighting hard for this power veto. And he says if he wins, he's gonna leave the nominations the same, and they're gonna vote out Christie, because they cannot miss out on this opportunity, especially now if Nick is working with them. That is not okay. So then this morning, sis is trying to pull Jackson and Holly back in, trying to get the old gang of 5 back together. Denied. They're not gonna do it. Holly was even like, yeah, I don't want to work with essentially like a high school bully, meaning Christie. She's not about that. She has seen what America has said, and she is staying away from Christie. So yeah, the house guests at this point are waiting for the Power Veto competition to start, and this is a really big, important competition. This could change the rest of the game. It's important. So check back later. I will post the winner in the info box below if it's at like a normal time. And yeah, should be interesting. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who are you rooting for in the veto? And until tomorrow, much love.